Okay, welcome back to GAA Fan TV. My name is Aaron. So we're kicking things off once again with our season previews. This time we're going to be discussing the Donegal senior footballers, and we'll be discussing the hurlers as well a little bit later on in the video. Of course, I'm bringing in Patrick Sharkey from GAA Zone Media. Those of you who've watched the channel before will have seen Patrick on this channel a number of times before. Suppose first of all, how's life? I suppose not long now until a GAA return.
Yeah, look, it's obviously, it's not been like every other person maybe under the age of 30. You just kind of feel like the last year, your younger years has nearly been stolen. But it's that way. Like, but look, it's good, to get the GA back. Obviously, as a Liverpool fan, it's been a bit inconsistent, but now that GA is back, it's kind of like we're like children on Christmas Eve now, and hopefully we can get to see it flourish.
Yeah, well, I suppose, for myself as a Liverpool fan as well, it hasn't been too great. And obviously, time of this recording, they're playing Real Madrid later, so hopefully that goes well, but we'll have to wait and see. But I suppose, how are you after obviously it's been a while now since the 2020 championship and that Cavan loss. Like, how do you reflect on it now, like when you kind of look back?
Yeah, you look at it, it was our ninth Ulster final in 10 years. Like, this is the greatest period in Donegal's history, and yeah, look, we were favourites going into it, like, but I like the idea that we lost the game as favourites, because I've been at games like the Kerry game in 2012, and even the Cork game in 2012, where we weren't the favourites. We were that kind of Cavan team, the underdog team, and then we went out and beat them. I knew how good that feels like. So, it must be delighted for the people of Cavan, and maybe it can start off a golden kind of era for them in a way. And what maybe that's the one way I do see it. And so, like, and if you ask the Donegal fan in 2011 when we got their first Ulster final, 9 Ulster finals, 10 years, they would have been very, very happy with that outcome. And because before that we were a bit kind of stop start, and we finally got a flow going, and it was always good to see Keelan McGonigal after a few years in and out of the team, finally nailing down a starting spot as well. Fellow Buncrana man, yeah.
And I suppose, like, how would you ultimately like reflect then on that championship and league season for Donegal in 2020? Like you said there, obviously Caelan McGonigal, like fellow club man of Buncrana, like, so I suppose getting him in the side, was that the main kind of positive aspect of last year? Some of the kind of newer players that came into the side, like Pater Mogan as well, obviously looked very bright at times as well.
Yeah, look, it's just a massive reflection, I think, of that Donegal, maybe had depth coming through. Like, a big criticism of Donegal in the past maybe was a depth, and so we'd have to show that, and as for Donegal, sure, you look at it, we came through, and we survived. We just got promoted from there. Like, so for any promoted team, no matter how big or small, it was very good that we managed to survive. And I actually credit the Division 2 season for actually helping the younger players get through, and I think actually it's going to be a massive benefit to Mayo in the long run as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, and I suppose looking at Division 1, obviously you're in there, Division 1 North. I suppose it's almost like a mini Ulster championship in many ways. You're in there with Monaghan, Tyrone and Armagh. Like, how do you reckon you will get on there?
Yeah, look, that's a fair reflection of Ulster football to have 4 Ulster teams there, and it's definitely good there. And yeah, look, we don't seem to take the league that serious and all the rest, and yeah, we'll fight hard and all the rest. Like, and it's gonna surprise a lot of people, and it's something which is gonna raise eyebrows. But I actually think we're gonna finish bottom and get relegated. I actually can't. I just think we don't have a good, just with the league things, and they all have better underage success to us. So you equate that Dublin in the playoff actually, and which is surprising. And I think hopefully you don't injure referees like 2013. But I think Dublin have a very good record against Donegal in the league. We bit different in the championship, but yeah, I just I think that's going to be it. So yeah, it's going to actually raise eyebrows.
Yeah, that's surprising. That's a completely. I feel like you're going with a different angle this time because last year you predicted Donegal to win the All Ireland. So I feel like maybe is this taking the pressure off maybe a bit with the fact that last year you were saying like Dublin or Donegal were going to beat the Dubs and win the All Ireland.
I don't know. Like it just leagues. I've never really seen us as being a league champion. Like there's been plenty of years where I thought we'd won in All Ireland, but there's never. I don't know what it is about the league, but I just don't feel like we're a league sort of team. We just I don't know. We seem to experiment it like when they've only won one division, one title within my lifetime. So like you know. So not like we're not even that good like cause like you look at it a particular Tipperary player um told me, I'm not going to name who it was, that he thinks Donegal would be a Division 3 side without Michael Murphy and Paddy McBurdy, but I don't know, I'm too sure about that. But yeah, look, I don't know. Like, I just feel we don't have a good record in the league, like, and usually we stay about 2 or 3 years and we go down. Like, we don't tend to maybe be there for 5 or 6 years, which maybe is probably something we should be working on in the future. But no, I can't see it there. And yeah, I just feel that way. Like,
Yeah, no, that's definitely interesting. All right, because I'm not too sure either. Like I think it's definitely going to be very tight. All right, and Tyrone are probably the favorites maybe of the sides to probably finish top. But I probably would have Donegal in the top two. But it's gonna be interesting to see how it does pan out. Obviously, like over the coming weeks. Like, is there any young lads even in the team? Do you think that might come into the Donegal side in 2021? Maybe players that we didn't see last year, or players coming up from the under 20s or anything like that.
yeah, look, players that might play. I've got two players that had action in the league. They're both called Conor O'Donnell. One plays for St. Eunan's, the other plays for Carndonna. They'll probably play in the halfback line more early there if you want to, So I'm just naming different clubs if you want to differentiate them because it's going to be a struggle maybe in the few years. So I definitely see them making the breakthrough. Like, and um, I don't think much introductions needed to Owen McNeilish, who's back in the panel, and as well. Like, so I think those two lads definitely there, and Aaron Doherty, he's an attacker who's been very good for the under 20s over the years. Like, so, well, with the 2 years he did play under 20. So yeah, I think there's definitely those three players. I think is what you need to be keeping on your radar. Yeah.
And I suppose then, like obviously with the playoff situation, like you'd go if that is your prediction, you'd go into a relegation playoff like against one of the bottom two teams over in the other side of the group, and the other side of the group is fairly tough as well. You've got Dublin, Galway, Kerry, Roscommon. I mean, I think Roscommon probably maybe the team to finish bottom, but I suppose if that is what pans out, it's going to be very hard to see how Donegal stay in Division 1 in that case.
Yeah, I actually yeah, so it's kind of strange like, but um kind of go in Roscommon. I don't think they're Galway are up and coming. Roscommon maybe just unfortunately they maybe just don't have the resources, but they're not going to go and aim for an All Ireland while Kerry and Dublin are. So I actually think we're going to see full strength going Roscommon teams where you might see maybe a bit experimentalness from Kerry and Dublin. So it's going to be a strange one, but I'm actually predicting them two to actually scrape the bottom two. Like, and it's not like but they'll go full throttle. And I expect a Dublin to finish third bottom, Donegal bottom. So that would be a Donegal Dublin rivalry. So, and Dublin, good record in the league against Donegal. So I can't really see us really pulling the strings against them, and then you've Kerry and Armagh, obviously they've Kieran Donaghy, like very impressed by him on Sky Sports. Sounds like a very intelligent man. So it's definitely an asset, him his own county. And I actually think they'll definitely hold out Kerry, like, but end of the day, Kerry, you can't really begrudge them anything else, like.
And who and who ultimately would you look at then to win it then in that case? Because if you're thinking Dublin ends up in the relegation zone, which personally I don't think will happen, but Who do you reckon in that case will win the league in that kind of scenario?
Yeah, well, in the Northern Group, I'm predicting Monaghan to finish top, actually, which is strange, just because similar to Roscommon and Galway, they're not going to go out win the All Ireland, but and then the thing about that there, so I say they'll beat Roscommon, and then Tyrone and Galway. Galway's squad's great run, and you look at the Tyrone forward line, it's very hard to look past them beating Galway, and then you have an all Ulster final of Tyrone and Monaghan, and while Tyrone might have that bit more quality in paper, Monaghan, it's kind of they have this golden generation, and they will be disappointed they maybe never took Sam to Monaghan. But I just think you look at everyone there, and you look at the age profile, kind of early 30s and all the rest. I think it just feels like it's the last big chance of them winning something serious for that Monaghan group. I just feel there's just that occasional element to it, and it's not element. And obviously, it is a local derby, and it will form kind of can go out the window in some of those games. But I just feel it's just Monaghan's year, just with the way they're young are, even with their manager suspended and the home advantage taken off them. I just feel, yeah, it's going to be that year for them. I just, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. All right, like I wouldn't probably have Monaghan top myself, necessarily, but yeah, you make a good point. Maybe with the fact that it is potentially maybe not necessarily the last year for many of their players, but the fact that they're more or less coming towards maybe the end of what was that great Monaghan side that won a couple of Ulster titles, that got to an All Ireland semi final. Ultimately, though, what do you see as like the ultimate goal for Donegal then in 2021? Is it to get back the Ulster title, to, I suppose, try and strive to win that All Ireland, or what would you see as a success, I suppose, for Donegal this year?
Yeah, success would be going against my prediction and actually staying up. So that would be a good one in the
That'll be a
first one in the league.
start.
But if you look at the championship, winning Ulster should be that way. Like, but the draw isn't made yet. And if we play Tyrone and Healy Park and Oma, and we don't have a good record there, and there probably won't be fans there, so that might change things. But like we have a terrible record, so like if we get like Tyrone in the first round in Healy Park, it's going to be a Tyrone one. But I'm an optimist, and I do think the aims winning Ulster. It's a if we won Ulster, it's a good year. If we won the All Ireland, it's a successful year. Put it that way.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I suppose it's been twice you've won an All Ireland previously, so I suppose if you win it a third time, yeah, it would definitely be a huge success. Like, obviously at the time of this recording, the draw hasn't happened, but by the time this video is out, the draw will have happened. So, I suppose we'll see what happens there. But I suppose looking down some of the other divisions, like how do you see Division Two panning out?
Yeah, we're on, but I expect so we'll go to the Northern Group, and you look at it. I think it's going to be what most people are actually predicting. This one here actually goes with the norm, but I'm predicting Meath and Mayo to pull through that one, and the bottom two to consist of Westmeath and Ferdinand down fourth, and then the South Group you'll have. I'm predicting at the top will be Cork. Second, it's going to surprise a lot of people, but with Gary Brennan retired, they're more of a team now. They've Jamie Malone back in the panel. I just feel like they've just got that young bite in them. I just feel Clare will snatch into it. And then I say Laois, what do you call it? They have a lot of quality. Kingston, they all maybe get a draw or maybe a good one to put them up the third. And then Kildare, they conceded 5 against Meath this year. They're just maybe haven't had a good record recently. And I just feel there's going to be some sort of I just feel, they struggled early on in the league this year. And if they struggle early on in the league, then yeah, I just feel that's the way it's going to be like. But then, so as for promotion, that would be a Meath Clare semi-final, a repeat of the qualifiers. Now, that game there, I think Meath were the experienced outfit, while Clare were the young and upcoming one. The tables have turned this time, and even though Jordan Morris and all the rest will be trying to get there, I just feel there's that wee bit actual more experience on Clare's side, and I think they're actually gonna tumble over Meath and get there, like, because they've stuck around Division 2 long enough. I just feel they've got that sort of strange edge to them, and Dara Kelly will have a dilemma of who to support, but yeah, and then Mayo and Cork. No, this is the one, like, it's very unfortunate for Cork they have to face Mayo, very. But I'm gonna actually back Cork to lose to Mayo. Don't get your hopes up, but yeah, I just the quality of Mayo, and then Mayo will beat Clare in the final. Like, I don't even think Clare will really care if they're up in Division 1. Like, but Mayo fans love trophies, and that's all that matters, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, I suppose Clare is an interesting one, because when I was speaking to Matthew Hurley from GAA Statsman there, when we were previewing Cork, like, he was mentioning Clare have a number of good young players as well. So I suppose you're not the first one to think like that. And I suppose with Kildare, like, they're one of them teams that on any given day really could have an absolute howler in them. Like, we saw that against Meath, where they just shipped in all those 5 goals. So there is a potential there for Clare. Definitely not impossible. Like, they definitely could potentially sneak into that top 2. Whether they get promoted, I don't know. I feel like it'd be unlikely for them to beat a Meath or Mayo. But I suppose, look, listen, with the way the championship is and league is potentially going to pan out, I mean, you never know, I suppose.
Yeah, but what I would say is that for the relegation previews, I think it'll be a Kildare Westmeath, and once Kildare get their act together, there'll be no stopping them against teams like Westmeath. And it's unfortunate that Westmeath will face a team of that standard at the wrong time. I just think Kildare will have enough kind of fire in their belly to call it a day there. And now it goes to the Down and Leash kind of relegation semi-final, and obviously Down didn't even play 2 of the games they got when they got promoted. But you look at the players through the Kilcoo teams and all the rest, and there's been a lot of teams that have challenged Kilcoo and Down. There's just, without the club action, I just feel Down have a team worthy of getting past Leash. As much as Leash can be a good team, I just feel Down have what it takes to get there. So a double Leinster relegation.
Interesting, yeah. And I suppose Division 3, I mean, that's you've obviously got the likes of Fermanagh, Derry, Cavan on one side of the draw, and then you've got Tipperary, Offaly, Wicklow, and Limerick on the other side of the draw. Like, I suppose potential for a lot of surprises in that division as well.
Yeah, but like, I think it's the most competitive division now. The one reason why the leagues is probably better in the championship is because that nearly every division is actually competitive, and anyone can basically beat anybody. But so you have 2 groups, like, and in the Division 3 North group, I'm actually think it's going to be surprising, but it's not. I actually think Cavan will have that hangover and actually finish bottom of their Division 3 group. Yeah,
wow.
It's a bit of a strange one. Like, it's no hard feelings, Kevin. No hard feelings. Fermanagh, unlucky they're in that group. Like, honestly, like, a team that almost got to Division 1 2 years ago, like, out fighting the relegation. I just feel they will burn out there. But now looking at the promotion, Rory Gallagher touched on it before. What he's done with Donegal, he's kept us up in the league every season. Something which Jim McGuinness or Declan Boner has never achieved. And obviously for Fermanagh, as I mentioned, they were kind of nearly a point away from getting into the championship. But yeah, look, I think, that'll be the every thing. And Longford, they've beat teams like Monaghan in the past. A lot of that team's still there. You've Mullen, Acton, all the rest. I think they'll snatch the top spot, and Longford actually have a good record against some teams like Derry and Fermanagh in the league. So yeah, I just now it's the bottom one, and similar to Cavan, very similar to them. I think I'm actually thinking Tipperary. They are going there. Last year in the league, Tipperary needed a win away in Carrick and Shannon to beat Limerick to stay up in Division 3. So, like, in the league, they're no hot shots. I'm thinking championship and league form can be very different, and there's that kind of, there will be that sort of, and we're like, a lot of, so yeah, and the fact they won Munster, like, most of those men will have their placing the team safe for like the first round of the Munster Championship. Like, so I just feel there will be that bit more experimentation within it. And number 3, an ambitious team. Over years in Division 3, they might have survived. And even if there was 8 teams, they probably wouldn't have due to the actual strength and quality there. But I'm going to back Wicklow. Not really, like they're just, they're a good team, like ambitious, like, but sometimes a teams just take a step too far, and I feel Wicklow have had their day. And number 2 goes to Limerick. You look at some of the scorelines in Division 4, like, you just can't think, and Ian Corbett, one of the best halfbacks in the country. So I do think there's that element in them, to push out, Limerick were within our lifetime, Limerick were a Division 1 team, like, so, there is that quality there. And and I can say the same actually about Offaly. They're unlucky last year of injuries, but I don't know if there's any top injuries there. So a fully fit Offaly, as I've had Dave Dempsey in my podcast. You've had Cian Farrell, I believe. So yeah, you know how ambitious they are and how they kind of want to get there, and the right coaching infrastructure in place. So I just think that'll be there. Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon Offaly could easily get promoted as well. Like, I suppose with Cavan and Tip getting relegated, I feel like you've definitely probably ruffled some feathers from some people watching.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying they get relegated, get to the playoffs. So you're gonna wait there. So kind of the semi-finals, Longford and Limerick. Bit of a strange one. Like, they're definitely there, and I would definitely say they're equal Limerick, but I just think Limerick are going to win an extra time. So like they're a bit like Laois 2 years ago, having the joint back-to-back promotions. Kind of after a few years in the background, they're finally kind of back to where they belong, maybe in the top 2 divisions. So I just feel they kind of have that bit more, I don't know, ability to get out there. And Derry and Offaly, Rory Gallagher, touched on it before. He's an absolute league expert. It's kind of his ground. And I really kind of want there, but and I would love to see maybe Derry back at the top table, even though they're local rivals, because it's kind of frustrating to see a team with so much quality punching below their weight. But I just think Offaly just narrowly lost out to them last year, and I just feel they're getting there clear. I actually think Offaly are just going to get past Derry, and then I just think big day for Limerick. I actually think Limerick are going to win the division. So yeah, it's a bit weird one. I don't think many people are predicting Limerick to win Division 3, but that's there.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, look, listen, they do have some good players coming through. Like Killian Fahy, for example, is very, very talented footballer. Like, they've definitely a good few players like within that team at the moment. They definitely could be thereabouts. Like, I suppose one of the things with Division 3 in particular, with that division with Wicklow, Limerick, Offaly, Tip, like, I feel like there's honestly going to be nothing between them. We could be talking about 1 or 2 points. We could be talking about score difference. And I have a sneaky feeling Wicklow might cause 1 or 2 surprises in there as well. And I definitely don't think it's a given that Tip get promoted. On the other side of the draw, though, Cavan getting, like, finished bottom, like, I feel like that's a big surprise, because I don't know, like, I feel like with the momentum that they got from that Ulster Championship win, I'd be surprised to see them finish bottom. But like, how do you reckon it'll pan out for them in the end? Do you think they will go down, or do you think that they'll find a way to survive?
That would lead to a Calvin Wicklow game. I kind of like Calvin will wake up and kind of think, yeah, you can't hang on, lads. We're in a one-off game to avoid relegation to Division 4. Like, you're Ulster champions. You can't be having that. Like, and I don't care what happens. Calvin will beat Wicklow by about 7-8 points, maybe around that score. Like, I just feel Calvin will finally find their touch there. And now the one that actually will be the most competitive will be Fermanagh and Tip, like, and obviously ambitious team, like. But I just think you look at it on paper and it's a one-off game. It's kind of the backs are against the wall for both teams, and Shawnee Quigley's back in the Fermanagh setup, which is obviously massive for them. But the likes of the Jones brothers and the Corrigan brothers have both kind of out of the panel, and it's trying to experiment with a lot of the younger boys, especially a lot of lads who won the St. Michael's success in the Hogan Cup, and bear in mind that Fermanagh under-20s beat the Donegal under-20s in February in 2019, wasn't it? Yeah. So we're not really well, but I just feel I'll be similar to the Leitrim game last year. They will get the one, and I am predicting them to stay down. So per Fermanagh, after almost getting to Division 1, will be a Division 4 team next season.
Yeah, I suppose it's hard to see how they stay up. Like they definitely have a lot of very talented young players coming through at the moment, but yeah, it is kind of hard to see how they stay up in, especially in that division. Like what kind of teams would you be keeping an eye on then in Division 4 as well? You've obviously got Louth, Antrim, who are in there, Leitrim and Sligo, and then obviously on the other side you've got Waterford, Wexford.
Yeah, so the Northern group, you have Sligo, Antrim, Leitrim, and Louth, and I think with Mickey Hart in place, and I know they're the team that came down. I know Samuel Roy's going to score a lot, but I actually think they'll finish bottom. I just think the teams above them just have that ounce of quality. I just feel there's that kind of a earlier, and it's very tough for them that they might just not experience that new manager bounce, because it's very hard, as maybe Samuel Roy was saying in your own podcast about maybe Zoom calls and all the rest. Again, I know they're back to training like other teams, but there's other managers that have kind of been there a while and will get it going. I know Sligo have new management as well, but as for Leitrim, yeah, they are probably one of the favourites as well to get up, and I really like them as a team as well. Ryan O'Rourke, one of the best footballers in the country. Unfortunately, similar to Samuel Roy, you sometimes but I can't see them challenging any Antrim. And then Antrim, people will kind of be surprised with that if they conceded 7 to Wicklow last year, but back in 2017, the Antrim on minors beat the Donegal minors. So that team is finally coming of age. And over divisions, the kind of idea of bringing in youth wouldn't really work too well, but you can actually do that in Division 4. I think youth success actually matters a lot and builds a lot of foundations for the thing. And yeah, that's ambitious. And one player who you might want to look out for is Rory Brawley. He has big boots to fill with his father Joe.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, definitely big boots to fill, all right, especially with Joe as well, especially on Twitter as well. He's always tweeting everything every 10 minutes, so I'm sure the spotlight will definitely be on him, and I'm sure there'll be many heavy challenges going in on him at some stage as well.
Yeah, and then top of Sligo. Sligo were Division 3 2 years ago, and they kind of maybe last year they were a bit off the pace, but Sligo will want a point to prove after not being able to compete in the division. They've Paul Durkin, former Donegal goalkeeper, and as their backup keeper, and they've Tony McEntee as the manager, obviously the assistant to Stephen Rochford, during those successful Mayo years. So they definitely are a strong team. And that Division 3 experience will help them. And one player who I actually think will be a very good player you need to look out for is this lad, Peter Naughton. He, for Knockmore in the Mayo Senior Championship, he was actually a top goal scorer, but I don't know, didn't get called up to the Mayo panel for some reason. And his father's a Sligo man, so he gets to play for them. So he's a really quality player who's going to absolutely rip teams to shreds in the Division 4. So that's definitely I think there, he could easily fit into a few Division 1 teams, and then Southern Group, bottom Waterford, they were the worst Irish team last year, and they still are a young team, but it's kind of hard to see the signs of improvement. I really like Shane Roynan. He's a very good manager. He won 2 intermediate All-Irelands with the Tipperary ladies at football, and it'd be good to see him, making the big break in the men's game. But I mean, and I definitely think, but there. And then Wexford, they almost got promoted against their local rivals Wicklow last year, but I think they'll be enough to get second there. And Carlow, I think, they are a quality team, and they are a Division 3 standard team. They just maybe were a bit off the pace last year with the change in management. I think, give it a full season and they'll be able to snatch the first place. So I just think that's the way it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's gonna be interesting how it pans out. All right. I suppose moving on to the hurlers, we'll discuss the Donegal hurlers. Like how would you kind of reflect on Donegal's 2020 Nicky Rackard Cup campaign? Obviously, getting that victory over Mayo in the end. But I suppose a successful year nonetheless for the Donegal hurlers with that victory.
Absolutely. Like we won Division 3A and we won the Nicky record. Like it was 100%. Like there's no other way of saying it. If a team won the league and the All Ireland, like that's a successful year. Like, and obviously there's no really provincial and kind of the lower ones. Like so, there's absolutely no complaints there. Like we actually went unbeaten the whole year, so I've absolutely zero complaints there. That's went 100% up the scratch. So yeah, that was very ambitious. Yeah, so yeah, it's there's no complaints. But what I would say, it's disappointing. That's out of Donegal's control. Like just due to the fact there's no real relegation, because we won't get that promotion up to the Christy Ring Cup, which is disappointing. Like Donegal and
Yeah.
Offaly could have been playing in a hurling game. Could you believe it? Donegal and Offaly playing in hurling. Oh man, if you told me that 5 years ago, I would have laughed at you. But it's just the way things change and go. Like, and yeah, but look, um, all I'm saying, like, that doesn't change the fact, we won what we could and we did that, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I suppose it's kind of unfair in some ways because, like, could you imagine if Armagh Mayo wins the Nicky Rackard Cup this year and gets promoted? It's kind of unfair in yourselves because you've been there and done that. But I suppose obviously that was just the nature of 2020 and the year that was in it. I suppose Division 2B is what you'll be in. Obviously after promotion last year alongside Kildare, Roscommon, Derry, and Mayo. How do you reckon you will get on there?
Mm. I don't know if we'll stay up. Like, I really don't. Like, it's very hard to judge how it's going to go. Like, and the aim should be to stay up there, because we have done it in the past. Like, kind of every time Donegal play Derry, like all the local press looks back at the one time we beat them in Division 2B in 2011. Like, it's kind of like, hurling moves on. So I don't know. Like, I say, us and Roscommon might be the two kind of weaker teams in the thing there. Obviously, Kildare got to the Chris Ring final. Derry, really, really challenged Offaly in like the quarterfinals, but and that there. So I just and you look at some of the Slough players, like they've club success that would rival, the majority of counties in the Lee McCarthy Cup. So like that's definitely an element there. But yeah, I say we might just scrape the barrel.
And I suppose like moving on then, just some kind of general predictions then. Like obviously you've got Limerick, Tip, Cork, Waterford, Galway, and Westmeath in Division 1A, and then Division 1B is Clare, Dublin, Wexford, Kilkenny, Antrim, and Laois. So, like, who would you be most confident to win the league in 2021? I mean, Limerick are probably the obvious favourites, but who would you reckon yourself?
Yeah, look, the league isn't the most serious thing in the world. Like, and Lambic, I can definitely see them having a Dublin era of dominance. That's kind of that way there. But the kind of league, like, I don't know if John Kiley, because there's such a quick turnaround, it's not like you have the 1 month break
Hmm.
between it there. So I just feel it's actually going to be Kilkenny's year just because they're the rank outsiders. I think it's just, it. So yeah, that there. As for there, you look at the way Dublin, you look at the way they challenged all the teams like Kilkenny and all the rest there. And I actually think, Antrim will put in a really good fight for promotion and Laois as well. But Dublin be the winners of that. I just think they're that wee bit more ahead of them. And I just feel there's that buzz in them. Yeah. So yeah.
Hmm. I suppose, yeah, and like who do you reckon will get relegated from those divisions? I mean, I suppose you've got Dublin, Antrim, Laois, who are probably the most likely, I suppose, from Division 1B that people would think to go down, and obviously Division 1A, Westmeath are probably, I mean, let's be honest, they're probably gonna finish bottom anyways. So, what do you reckon yourself?
Yeah, for Westmeath, they're doing good there, to be in such a place like, but there's um, bit of a weird one, but Waterford are Division 1A, aren't they?
Yeah, Waterford, Division 1A, yeah.
Yeah, look, even though we got to the final last year, I just feel, it comes a time where they might just run out of that bit of steam, and I just feel, I actually think it's going to be Waterford going down.
Yeah, I suppose you never know. Like, yeah, Waterford, I suppose, I guess with the fact that Calum Lyons, Stephen Bennett, Desi Hutchinson, I suppose, I feel like teams will become a lot more equipped with them, but I'd be very surprised to see Waterford go down, in all honesty. But I suppose, obviously, GAA Zone Podcast, obviously you were taking a break for a while. Are you thinking of getting things back up and running soon, or what are you thinking?
Hopefully by May, maybe, that's the plan, hopefully just when everything settles down, like, it's been hard and all the rest, like, but maybe late May, early June, like when it originally started last year. I say that's, if it's the most likely, that would be it. So yes, I am thinking about doing that, and I think that should be there, and I should have some interesting guests, and yeah, whatever, like
Good stuff, yeah. No, absolutely, yeah. Like, hopefully you can get things back up and running and get the podcast back running. And yeah, Patrick, look, listen, I appreciate you jumping on to give your thoughts and opinions on Donegal footballers and hurlers ahead of the upcoming league season, and obviously giving your general predictions for both football and hurling as well. So yeah, cheers for coming on.
Yep, thank you very much.